I'm in Salt Lake City at the Land Cruiser Heritage Museum, and I'm here with Dan. And Dan, we have an incredible group with this iconic truck. I'm excited. Can you show me around?
Oh, I'd love to do that. There's over 100 of them in here. How much time have you got? We'll start with our oldest vehicle in the collection, which is a 1953 BJT Toyota Jeep. And this is the predecessor to the Land Cruiser that came about at the request of the U.S. Army Procurement Agency in Japan in 1951. And they called it a Jeep because that's what the Army called it when they asked for it. Of course, that name belonged to Willys, and Willys was not happy about Toyota using it. And they said, you can't use that. You're going to have to name it something else. They said, okay, sure, we'll call it a Land Cruiser. And that's how that name started. That was 1956.
How many of these exist today?
Probably less than 6.
This one here, Dan, what's the significance?
Well, this is a 1958 FJ25, which is from the first year that Toyota sold motor vehicles here in the United States. That's when they entered our market across the nation, and they sold one Land Cruiser, and this is it right here.
So first Land Cruiser sold in the U.S., bought by a school teacher in California.
Correct. And then we have pickup variations on this side. A little bit later, soft top. There is a Japanese term Toyota uses, kaizen, which essentially translates into continuous improvement. There's always room to make it better. So they never quit trying to improve.
This one is not set up for off-road. I hear it's set up for speed. Dan, fill me in. What's the story on
Well,
this one?
the lift kit was put on upside down on this truck. This is the Land Speed Cruiser. This was built by Toyota's U.S. racing team. Their goal was to produce the world's fastest SUV. 5.7 liter V8 that was massaged by the racing team. It's a stock block with custom internals. It's estimated that the engine produces around 3,400 horsepower.
Get out.
It did hold the record. It got the record in 2016, 230.02 miles an hour at an airport. You know, on that high-speed run, they had the boost dial at 19 pounds. And at 19 pounds, the engine was producing just under 2,000 horsepower. They could have gone a lot faster than 230 miles an hour, but the front end was coming up on it.
So where do you guys keep the wings that can install?
Fire trucks, for example. We have several here, and they use Land Cruisers because they're small enough. Everything is built very close together, and the roads are quite narrow. I don't know if you've ever been to Japan, but if you ever go there, you'd be astonished at how close and tight everything is. And what we would consider a normal-sized vehicle here in the United States is huge over there. And talk about huge, I've got one for you. This is a mega cruiser. They made 149 trucks for the civilian market between 1996 and 2001. Primarily designed and intended for the Japanese Self-Defense Force. It is 4-wheel independent suspension, inboard disc brakes, 4-wheel steering, very similar dimensionally to an H1 Humvee, unbelievably maneuverable for as large as they are. You can do figure eights in them with the 4-wheel steering. It's really crazy. It's a 4.1 liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel, a liter a cylinder. When you think of that displacement, that is amazing. This is the Expedition 7 fleet that was driven around the world between 2012 and 2014. And the goal was to drive the same motor vehicle on all 7 continents. And they accomplished that. It took 2.5 years. Total miles driven, just over 58,000. This is the only 4-wheeled motor vehicle in the world that's been on all 7 continents.
How does the museum go about selecting vehicles and the conditions that they're in to showcase?
Land Cruisers are not transportation, they're family members. This is a 1973 FJ40 that was destroyed in the Paradise Fire in Paradise, California in November of 2018. Land Cruisers have a worldwide reputation for durability, reliability. This is about the only way you can stop one is by burning it to the ground.
Well, thank you, Dan, for sharing about the legacy of these incredible trucks. I can tell that you're a genuine enthusiast. And if you want to find out more about the Land Cruiser Heritage Museum, come on out to Salt Lake City and check it out in person.